Hi, everyone. Today I wanted to chat with you about healthy boundaries, what they are, why we should have them, and how we can put them in place. Hi, my name is Dee. Welcome back to another episode of Dee's Mindful Monday Musings. I'm so thankful and grateful that you are joining me here today about this amazing and incredible and imperative topic, healthy boundaries. So, what are healthy boundaries? Healthy boundaries are boundaries that we put in place. One of the things we need to keep in mind is that boundaries are for us more than they are for other people. Okay, so they're to create kind of a little sanctuary, a little safe bubble that we can exist in so that we don't allow these other things to penetrate our nice peaceful little space and rock our world way more than we need to allow it to be rocked some days, right? So healthy boundaries I would like to share with you and invite you to realize and consider that we need to also have healthy boundaries for ourselves. That's really where it all starts. So what does that mean? So it can mean how thinking about how we talk to ourselves, creating a healthy boundary about the things we say to ourselves, and creating a space of grace when it comes to our own physical being, our own spiritual being, our emotional being, and what that can look like means something different to each of us because we all exist in our own individual experience inside this life, right? So I invite you to consider how the things you say to yourself and about yourself on a daily basis can impact the way you feel physically. It can affect the way you feel emotionally and spiritually. So creating a healthy boundary around that and allowing ourselves to exist in a space of grace and gratitude for ourselves and who we are and what we are and how we move through this life is extremely important. It all begins with us. Okay. We give so much credence in this life to things outside of ourselves, and we consider those things to be more real because we can touch them and feel them and they're real, but our being is real. And it's just as important, if not more important. I would just absolutely say it's more important than the things outside of us. Right. So starting there and creating those healthy boundaries. And one of the things I like to say to people is to be your own best friend. If you wouldn't say something to your best friend, then don't say it to yourself, right? If your friend comes to you and they're struggling with something or they made a mistake or said something that maybe they shouldn't have said, or I shouldn't say shouldn't have said, but that they could have said differently. If they come to you and they talk to you about that, you're not going to be like, oh, you're so stupid. Why did you do that? You can never do anything right. You would never say that to them. So, creating a healthy boundary around what we say to ourselves and giving ourselves the grace that we would extend to other people is a really, really important place to start with healthy boundaries. So, putting that up for yourself and allowing yourself to just be kind to you, be kind to you. Give yourself compliments, tell yourself how well you're doing and how beautiful you are and how smart you are and how capable you are. Give yourself those compliments. So I invite you to give that a shot and implement that in your life and do it for, a few days, do it for a week, do it forever. That's the whole goal right there, is to forever. But start out with something small, because when we first start doing this, it does feel awkward and strange. And we might think, oh, this is ridiculous. Nobody's hearing me. No one has to hear you. You hear you. This is an opportunity for you to appreciate yourself. And it really is such a beautiful thing. And I promise from personal experience, I promise you that the longer you do it and the more you implement it, the easier it gets, the more natural it gets, and it doesn't feel so strange and unusual after a while of doing it. And it's something that will just be second nature to you. When someone says something to you, you'll be like, oh, I'm so amazing at that. I'm really good at that. This is another reminder that this is not narcissism. That is not the same. Now, if you went around telling everyone you were the best at everything and no one else could compare to you, then that's a totally different story. But just appreciating your own awesomeness and knowing that your awesomeness doesn't detract from anyone else's and no one else's awesomeness detracts from you, that's the space we want to be in, right? So, healthy boundaries in other areas can look like something as simple as setting a boundary for what time people can contact you during the day, because a lot of us have evening routines. I'm one of those people, and I prefer not to have my evening routine after a certain time in the evening interrupted, because it's my time with Steve and we enjoy doing certain things in the evenings while we relax and prepare to just settle down for bed that night. That's a simple, easy one, right? Just tell people, please don't, unless it's an emergency, and you can help them understand what constitutes an emergency in your life, right? Just set that as a boundary, like, please don't contact me after whatever time in the evening you pick. It's your life, right? So pick that time in the evening and just gently let everyone know. And one of the things that's super important, I'm going to just pause right here to say it's super, super important that when you are implementing healthy boundaries, especially for the first time with people, to really extend a lot of grace and have the understanding that they may not react real well at first because they're used to having full on access to you. No matter what time of day it is, no matter what day of the week it is, they're used to having full on access to you. And that's been for maybe your whole life, right? It's never too late to implement healthy boundaries, but just keep in mind that you'll need to extend these people grace and understanding while they get used to the idea that this is the new way things work with you, that this is a boundary that you're going to enforce, and enforce it. Enforce it. That is the key piece to healthy boundaries, is to be gentle when you implement them and give grace and understanding and enforce the boundary. Because if you don't enforce the boundary, then it means absolutely nothing and you're just going to continue to get bulldozed, right? So that's a just a small little one you can apply with whatever it is in your life. So maybe you're a busy mom, you work and you have kids to get off to school in the mornings and your routine is crazy, crazy. And then you have this one friend who maybe she doesn't work, or maybe she works at a different time of day than you, but that's the time of day she always wants to call you in the midst of the madness of you getting the kids ready for school and getting yourself ready for work in the morning. And maybe that's who you need to go, hey, if you could just allow me to call you on my lunch break, or I'll call you after work, or let's chat this weekend, or let's set a date to get together, or something like that, whatever it looks like for you. These things are very personal, so I can give ideas and make suggestions, but you have to find what works for you in your life and what means healthy boundaries for that safe space for you to have your little peaceful bubble around yourself. You'll have to figure that out for you and make it something that works for your own life. Right. But these things are super important because a lot of times we allow other people, it's almost like being outside in a hailstorm. Sometimes you just have all these things coming at you and they're bouncing off your head and giving you a headache or stressing you out, or somehow just making the day a little more complicated than it has to be. So think of healthy boundaries as putting up an umbrella, right? While you're out in that hailstorm and that stuff just, it can't get to you. It can be going crazy around you, but it can't get to you because you have your little healthy boundaries in place. So if you can think of it like that, as saving your sanity, and it's a super important thing to do. Don't feel guilty about it. We do have a tendency as humans to implement that guilt card. We want to be available and be everything to everyone all the time, every second of the day. And guess what? You don't have to be. You don't have to be. You get to be there for you. You get to provide yourself this little sanctuary to exist in so that you can rest and recharge and relax and breathe and ground and and just be present and allow yourself to become the best you that you can be, so that when you do interact with those people, you have the best you, your highest and best version of you to present to them. So you're calmer, you're more peaceful, you're happier, you're more relaxed. And that's going to be a lot more pleasant of a person for them to interact with. And once they get used to the boundaries being in place and they realize how it has shifted your energy and how much more relaxed and peaceful you are and how much better your energy is, then it's going to be an amazing thing that happens after that. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. So I really truly invite you to implement healthy boundaries today. If you are a person who has gone through this already and put healthy boundaries in place, I would really love for you to place comments in the comments section down below this video so that you can share those ideas with other people because they may have an aha moment reading your healthy boundary. They may be like, oh, I totally need to implement that like right now, like yesterday, but today is good because we're in this moment. So, and they may implement that in their life and it may be a game changer for them. So I truly invite you to share any healthy boundaries that you have already implemented in your life that you feel would be helpful for other people because everyone has different ways of doing things and your aha moment may also be someone else's aha moment. Okay. So I really encourage you to share. Thank you all for listening to these little videos that I do. I truly, truly appreciate you. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. I love you so much. Thank you. Please don't forget to like, share, and if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so. I'm doing my best to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm a little short yet, but we're getting there. And I'm very grateful for that. So I have some beautiful things coming up for you on my podcast, Spiritually Speaking. So if you haven't checked that out yet, I encourage you to do so because there's some amazing videos already up. And I have some really cool stuff that's going to be coming up soon in the next few weeks for you as well. So, and I'm going to take this opportunity to say thank you to each and every one of my guests that have already been on my podcast and the ones that are going to be coming in the future. If you know of anyone you feel like would be a super great podcast guest for me, please get in touch with me. You can comment below in the comments, send me an email, reach me on Messenger or any of my social media platforms. I appreciate your time and your energy. Thank you so much. And I will see you on the next one. I love you all.